Welcome to SpillHood, your go-to spot for the real gossip and the latest street news. Things are heating up because it looks like Lil Wayne is finally done acting like everything's fine. After Birdman went off on Turk during that Cash Money versus No Limit Versus, fans didn't miss a thing. They started reading between the lines, and Wayne's quiet reaction said everything. You could feel the tension in the air. This one hit deep because these guys weren't just label mates. They were family. The Hot Boys came from nothing and built an empire together.
It's a lot of moving parts with me and Wayne, and it's important to me that I fix it.
Man, Turk, shout out to Turk, and look, you ain't here, but f you. We gon' f you when we won't f you. You heard me?
Damn!
We gon' f with that bitch when we won't f.
Hot Boys was you, Dooney, Sterling, and Mosquito.
Well, it was more than that, but everybody like started going to jail, started hanging out.
Y'all see this shit, man. Y'all see what's going on. I think No Limit won. That's my honest opinion. They was more organized. They was grown up about the situation.
For years, Wayne defended Birdman like he was his own father. But now that silence, it hits different. It feels like something snapped, and honestly, it makes sense. When you look back at all the money problems, lawsuits, and sneak dices, it's hard not to see the pattern. Birdman didn't just mess up friendships. He might have destroyed the legacy that made Cash Money legendary. So today, we're breaking down how Birdman went from being the man who made the Hot Boys to the very reason they might never be whole again. And it all started at Complex Con during the Cash Money versus No Limit Versus battle on October 25th, 2025, where fans showed up expecting a nostalgic celebration, but got drama instead. Fans came expecting nothing but classic hits, reunions, and nostalgia, but instead, Birdman snatched the mic and flipped the whole vibe upside down. Out of nowhere, he shouted, "Shout out to Turk, you a little B-word. You ain't here, we gonna F with you when we wanna F with you." The whole crowd went gone silent.
I understand our language, you feel me? But I got to say this. For me. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all know y'all can't with me when y'all wanna with me. And I just wanna leave it at that, man. Like we gotta stop sending out these mixed messages to people, cause y'all, don't do that. You know what I'm talking about? Respectfully.
For a second, it felt like time froze. Then social media went crazy. People started tagging Turk nonstop, digging up old clips, sharing past interviews, and asking the same question over and over. What happened this time? Later that night, Turk hopped on Instagram Live, calm but clearly done with the disrespect. He didn't raise his voice, but his words hit hard, especially when he dropped that line, "Give me my percentage." That wasn't just a clapback, it was a true strike. This wasn't about hurt feelings. It was about money, loyalty, and broken promises that still sting to this day. That's when fans started piecing it all together. If Turk's still fighting for his share, then maybe Birdman's been running the same game all along. And while the internet was on fire with reactions, Lil Wayne stayed completely silent, and somehow that silence spoke louder than words.
It's all love though. We ain't doing no tripping over here. Big YNT, man. YNT. That's what's going on over here.
To really understand how deep this runs, you gotta rewind the clock. Before Cash Money became a powerhouse, the name Hot Boys wasn't some slick marketing idea. It was born in the streets of New Orleans. Back in the late 80s, inside the Magnolia Projects, that name carried real weight, and it had nothing to do with music. The original Hot Boys were real street legends: Sterling, Donnie, Mosquito, and Terrence "Gangsta" Williams, who happens to be Birdman's older brother. These dudes weren't rappers. They were running the city. People feared them, respected them, and knew not to cross them because their name alone carried serious power. But things took a dark turn fast. One by one, those original Hot Boys were either locked up or taken out, leaving only Gangsta Williams standing long enough to see Birdman flip that street legacy into a music empire. What started as a name whispered in the projects would soon explode into a global brand, but not without a heavy price. So when Birdman later brought back the name Hot Boys for his new rap crew, it wasn't by chance, it was calculated power play. He took something born in the gritty streets and flipped it into a full-blown empire. That legacy became both a blessing and a curse, depending on which side you were on. By the mid-1990s, Birdman and his brother Slim had officially turned Cash Money into a label. But to really make noise, they needed a crew that repped New Orleans with the same fire the original Hot Boys had. That's when the streets brought us the new generation: Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG, the new age Hot Boys. These dudes had the look, the hunger, and that raw energy that couldn't be faked.
But besides that, you got the Wayne, Drake, Nicki, the Hot Boys. Before that, the Ross, and Cali, all them niggas come from under my umbrella. Every last one of them niggas. Ain't too many niggas ain't been up under my umbrella. If they say it or don't say it, all them niggas.
Birdman saw nothing but dollar signs. He hyped them up like street legends before they even touched the charts. Before long, the hot boys were everywhere. On mixtapes, on every stage, decked out in flashy jewelry, pushing luxury rides, and preaching one thing: loyalty to baby. And guess what? It worked. Albums like Get It How You Live and Guerrilla Warfare turned them into straight-up superstars. But that loyalty came with a heavy price. From day one, Birdman made sure he controlled everything: the contracts, the royalties, the publishing. Every single dollar ran through him. He didn't just build the dream. He owned it, while everyone else was just living inside it. At first, nobody questioned him. Birdman was seen as the boss, the father figure, the one who provided for the crew. But when the checks started rolling in and the math stopped making sense, cracks began to show. Big ones. Juvenile was the first to walk, calling out missing payments and shady accounting. Then BG followed, calling Birdman out straight up as a crook. Turk ended up getting locked up, and when he came home, the money he thought he had waiting for him, gone. Nothing but empty promises. Through all that, Lil Wayne stayed loyal. He stood by Birdman in every interview, called him Pops, and refused to speak badly about him. But behind the scenes, even Wayne started realizing the numbers didn't add up. Something was off. Real off. Birdman wasn't just the CEO, he was the gatekeeper, the one who decided who ate and who starved. The second you questioned him, your career got put on ice. Wayne might have been the youngest in the crew, but he wasn't blind. He watched what happened to the others, stayed quiet, and started plotting his own exit, one that would soon flip hip-hop upside down.
It was impossible to have any type of genuine or real feelings. I was on stage. I was in performance mode. I was trying to think about the words for the next song. Honestly, so I was just trying to make sure he didn't say it at a time where it was my verse and I messed up a line.
By 2015, Lil Wayne had finally hit his breaking point. He couldn't take it anymore. After years of loyalty and silence, he dropped a $51 million lawsuit on Birdman and Cash Money Records. He claimed he was owed an $8 million advance, plus another $2 million once Thigh Carter Fee was finished. On top of that, Birdman was accused of holding back profits from Wayne's own label, Young Money Entertainment, basically keeping the cash while Wayne kept the brand alive. Birdman, of course, denied everything, saying he never held Wayne's music hostage. But behind closed doors, Wayne was furious. His biggest project, Thug Carter 5, had been delayed for years because of the same shady business moves that had already pushed his crew away. The tension was boiling, and everyone in the game could feel it. Finally, in 2018, the two reached a settlement rumored to be well over $10 million. But Birdman couldn't resist talking big. He later bragged that he gave Wayne $400 to $500 million, a claim that had fans laughing because nobody believed that story for a second. So yeah, they hugged it out for the cameras. But fans weren't buying it for a second. That piece, it was all surface level, nothing real about it.
Hey.
What's up, Bula?
I'm Bully. How you good?
You already know, bro.
Yeah, man. How Lil B? How Priya?
Man, Brian good, man. He graduated from college, man.
I know, man.
He got his own little spot, you heard me?
Man, what, man?
Yeah. We'll graduate next year, bro. You heard me?
You could see it in Wayne's eyes and feel it in the air. Something was still off. To be fair, Birdman has spent years trying to defend himself, at least in public. He's constantly saying that everybody got paid and that people just don't understand how the business works. He even claimed he gave Lil Wayne hundreds of millions through Universal's distribution deals. But every time he talks numbers, the math never matches the receipts. What really gets people heated is how Birdman keeps flaunting his lifestyle. Private jets, diamond-studded watches, luxury cars, expensive gifts, the whole boss image. Meanwhile, most of his former artists are out here trying to rebuild their lives or still waiting for the royalties they were promised. And that's the part that really cuts deep, because the more he shines, the more the truth starts to show through the cracks. But here's where things get even messier. Fans started digging deeper and realized Birdman's money problems didn't just affect his artists. It affected his entire legacy.
Say, I gave Wayne about $400 to $500 million. Drake got about $500 million, and Nicki got about $300-400 million out my pocket. No kidding.
Rumors started spreading that Cash Money's financial empire wasn't as strong as it looked, and that some of those flashy assets might have been smoke and mirrors. People began pulling up old interviews, old lawsuits, and unpaid producer claims that all painted the same picture. Birdman was a genius businessman, but one who always made sure he got the biggest slice of the pie. Some insiders even said he kept everyone under contract so confusing that most artists didn't even realize what they'd signed until it was too late. And through all this, Lil Wayne's silence spoke louder than any diss track could. Fans noticed he stopped showing up at Cash Money events, stopped posting about Birdman, and focused strictly on Young Money instead. It was like he was rewriting his own story, cutting ties without even needing to say it out loud. What's wild is, no matter how many times Birdman tries to rewrite history, people haven't forgotten the artists who built that empire brick by brick. Wayne, Juvenile, Turk BG, they gave that label its soul. And now, years later, fans are wondering if Birdman's quest for control might have cost him the only family he ever really had. And that's the part that stings the most. Birdman built his empire on words like loyalty and family, but when the money started talking, that family disappeared faster than anyone expected. Just when things seemed to finally quiet down, boom! In 2022, out walks Terrence "Gangsta" Williams, Birdman's older brother and one of the original Hot Boys. After serving over 23 years behind bars, his release shook the entire game, including Birdman himself. Gangsta didn't waste time either. He jumped straight into interviews, speaking on the real Hot Boys, the street legends, and breaking down the truth behind Cash Money's beginnings. And what he said, it hit hard. He basically confirmed everything fans had been whispering for years, that Birdman took the Hot Boys' name, their reputation, even pieces of their life story, and flipped it into his label without ever giving real credit. When reporters asked Birdman how he felt about his brother being home, his reaction was ice cold. He acted like Gangsta didn't even exist. That silence told fans everything. It proved that in Birdman's world, loyalty only goes one way, toward him. Now here we are, nearly 30 years later, and the legacy of the Hot Boys is still stuck in limbo.
Well, the Hot Boys, the actual street crew.
Okay.
What year did that come together?
1994, we all started hanging together, but we knew each other from, like, me and Mosquito. We kind of grew up together.
And the Hot Boys was you, Dooney, Sterling, and Mosquito.
Well, it was more than that, but everybody like started going to jail, started hanging out.
BG is finally free. Juvenile is still holding it down solo. Turk keeps doing interviews calling Birdman out. And Wayne, he's too rich, too legendary, and maybe too far gone to ever look back. But one thing's for sure, the scars never really healed. And now the question everyone's asking, will the Hot Boys ever reunite again? Fans have been praying for that moment for years. But the truth is, the wounds might run too deep. Because even if time heals most things, money and betrayal have a way of leaving scars that never fade. Behind the scenes, there have been whispers that a reunion could happen, but only if Birdman steps up and makes things right. And that's the one thing he's never done. Every time someone brings it up, he either dodges the question or starts bragging about how much he's given everyone. But fans see through it now. They want accountability, not another flashy speech or Instagram post. Meanwhile, Lil Wayne keeps focusing on his own lane, dropping new projects, touring, and building Young Money's next wave of stars. Turk keeps telling his side on interviews, Juvenile is back rocking shows, and BG's return from prison brought a wave of nostalgia that reminded everyone how powerful that crew really was. Still, there's this unspoken truth hanging in the air. The Hot Boys made history together, but Birdman's control might have cost them their legacy. What once symbolized brotherhood now stands as a reminder of how fast success can turn family into strangers. And if Birdman ever wants to fix it, he'll have to face more than just old contracts. He'll have to face the truth he's been running from all along. So let's be real. Fans keep begging for a reunion, but deep down, everyone knows those wounds cut too deep to ever fully heal. Birdman might have built the brand, but he's also the one who broke the bond that held it all together. The Hot Boys weren't just another rap crew, they were a brotherhood built on loyalty, struggle, and survival. But once money and pride slid into the picture, that bond snapped and the empire they built started to crumble right in front of everyone's eyes. Now with Birdman back online, throwing shade and disses, it's clear this story is far from over. Every time Lil Wayne goes quiet, every time Turk speaks his truth, and every time Birdman shows off another luxury toy, fans are reminded that behind the hits, plaques, and millions was something real. A family that never healed. So the real question now isn't just whether Birdman still owes them millions. It's what else he owes that money could never replace. Respect, closure, loyalty, maybe all of it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to SpillHood for more wild stories from the industry. Drop your thoughts in the comments and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay tuned, fam.